for the budget-friendly, backyard barbecue enthusiast. Welcome to Fee's Barbecue.
G'day folks, welcome to Fee's Barbecue. Here we're doing some ribeye steaks tonight on the Weber kettle. Thought I would bring you along, show you what we're doing. So these are the steaks we're doing tonight. They got about 1.5 inches thick to 2 inches thick of ribeye steak just picked up at Farm Boy. Don't need the most expensive cuts as long as you do the prep right. It's going to taste good in the end. We've got Traeger Black and Saskatchewan here that we put on the steaks. It looks a little bit heavy, but by the time it goes on the smoker and it starts to sweat, it'll really pool up inside the steak and make a great tasting flavor. So I've had these salted down for about 24 hours, put them in the fridge unwrapped on a wire rack here. That way the meat has a chance to sweat, and then as it reabsorbs all the moisture sitting on the top, the spices get sucked right back into it. So when it comes to charcoal, there's lots of different options you can pick for your Weber kettle. It all depends on what your application is. If you're going to be going hot and fast, I like using lump charcoal. That way it's all non-uniform sizes on the charcoal. You can get faster burn, slower burn, all depending on what you want to do. But for tonight, since we're smoking, I go with the Weber briquettes. I find them rather large in size and they hold the heat quite well. That way when you're smoking and using a snake method, for example, or the minion method, which I can get into later, it'll be a slow, even burn all throughout the cook. And you don't have to worry about your temperatures fluctuating all that much. Now, you don't need to have one of these, but it helps a lot getting the fire going. I know where I am here in Ontario, a lot of wet wind happening right now, and really hard to get a fire lit unless you have a good old chimney starter. So it's about an hour until we light this barbecue up and get the steaks on. So I like to pull them out of the fridge to come up to room temperature before they go on the grill. Because if you have a cold steak going onto a warm grill, the chances of it cooking very uneven increase. So I like having the steaks at about room temperature by the time they get on the grill. So this is the belle of the ball. This is my 22-inch Weber kettle Performer. And here's how we got her set up today. Now this tool on the right hand side here, this is called a slow and sear. It allows the airflow to come up from underneath in our bottom vents and be deflected off the bottom plate here to shift over to where the coals are going to be burning. So the idea is when we're time to light, I have a little lighter pack down there. I'm going to light that on fire, set the coals on top, let that burn, and then when it's ready, I'll nudge it closer to here and it'll have a nice slow creep as it burns through all the coal, hitting chunks along the way to add smoke to the meat. Now the idea is to have the meat over top of this water pan area here. So the smoke will come up, hit the food, and go up and out of this vent right here. So I'll come back when we're gonna light this baby up. So because of that wet wind I mentioned earlier, I had to throw those charcoal into a protected sleeve as in the chimney starter here. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. With the fire starters underneath, so they're getting a nice licking of flames right there. When they get all nice and red hot, I will then transfer them over to here and we'll start this smoke for our steaks. The coals are now in there and slowly but surely they'll start to light everything up. Just gonna wait till they catch a little bit more there. I'll throw the lid on, we'll start tuning our temperatures in. So most Webers you're gonna find have this standard thermometer gauge. Now I went on Amazon and I bought this aftermarket thermometer, shows me other temperatures, and I mounted it right underneath the vent. That way it's gonna tell me what temperature the smoke is, not necessarily wherever this other thermometer is positioned over the coals. So we've got our temperature up right here now, so I can throw these steaks right on. Yes, I did wash my hands. I don't want to see any comments about, ew, he's using his hands. The hands are washed. Okay, got another chunk of hickory back in there. Flop that over. Put the lid down with the vent right over top of the meat, and we're off. Right now I got a temperature reading of about 225, which is a little bit low, but that's fine for what we're doing. The smoke is clearly rolling out of the vent, and we'll just let that sit about 40 minutes. I'll pick up the lid and give her a temperature check and see where we're sitting. Let the smoke roll. Sitting at about 275. I'm gonna turn my bottom vents down a little bit. Bring them down to about half. Top vents are about half too. That should bring our temperature back down to where we need it. So the steaks have been on for about 30 minutes now. Let's pick up the lid. Ooh, nice and smoky. See how we're doing here. Coals are just starting to creep through, hit those blocks as they go. Let's see. Love using an instant read because it never lies. 107. Got about a 108 on that puppy. I'm reading about 119. Getting a little warm there. Might be able to move that one back just further away. I'll probably give them a flip now though. Oh. During this time, you're going to flare up, which is okay. That's why the steak's over on the cool side. Okay, and as we put this down, she'll smother back out again. So tonight in Ontario, it's sitting at about 3 degrees with a lot of wind and rain and stuff like that. Smoke's still rolling though, and the beers are going down nice and smooth. So when I hit about 135, which is about medium rare, I'll take the steaks, slap them over the red hot coals, get a nice crust on the outside, throw them back on that wire rack that we started off with, bring them in the house and let them rest for about 10 minutes, give them a slice and see how they look. So I brought the steaks in, now they're sitting on the wire rack so they can rest for 10 minutes. Looking super juicy, super moist. Cut into them, see how they are. After about 10 minutes of rest, sliced in. There's your medium center. That's how I like it cooked, so perfect. Juice running all over the board. She's ready.